Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of my creative mode building series. Now, then, for this episode, we are in this little cherry and also snowy little biome, and I thought it'd be the perfect place for some cottage core vibes. So we're just gonna get right into it. All right, guys. So I do have a little thesis for this episode, or idea for what I'm gonna be like talking about this episode. But so like, bear with me, because if you're not familiar with my channel, I can get like pretty corny at times. So if you think what I'm saying is a bit corny, I apologize. But at the end of the day, it's truly just like coming out of my own like feelings about certain things, and that's really what this channel just is. It's just me letting my feelings out, and you guys just listening to them. So what I really wanted to sort of just talk about today is the fact that we're all kind of running out of time. If you think about it, we're always like constantly running out of time. Now you're gonna be like, Goober, I think you've been watching a little too much Hamilton. And to be fair, kinda, I don't know, it's something I've been like contemplating for like a bit. And I think it's the reason I contemplate it so much. It's the fact that I don't think we say I love you to each other enough. I don't think we tell the people we love I love you enough. We don't say it when we need to say it, when it's like the most crucial time to say it, and then you run out of time to say it. You never have enough time to tell the people you care about that you love them. And that's been weighing on me for a bit recently, because I just, it's something I think about, because you never really know when someone you like care about like leaves your life. Not necessarily like they pass away, just more like they're not there anymore. They're not a part of your life anymore. And you never really think about that until they're gone. It's not something you dwell on, because that's kind of morbid to dwell on, like, on the fact, because it's not really a nice thing to think about. It's heavy, it's scary, it's terrifying, really. And it's fine that people don't dwell on that, because why would they? They don't want to think about losing someone. They don't want to think about that. That's awful. That's terrible. That's terrifying. But as someone who has faced loss in recent years, like not just in terms of like actually losing family, but like also losing friendships, losing relationships, it's just, you never have enough time to tell or wait for the opportunity to tell someone, hey, I love you. You don't really have the time to just contemplate whether or not you should say it. I really think that if you feel that way, if you love someone, you should just let them know. Sure, maybe nothing will really happen, and they'll be fine, but like I said, you never really know if someone will be fine or not. You never really know what day could be your last? What if you don't say it and then you know, it just ends and you're gone and you missed out on the opportunity to let the person you know, how you the person you care about, know how you felt. And you know, it's morbid to think about that, especially at like my age. But you know, it's something I consider a lot because I wonder, do I tell this person that I care about them enough? Do I tell this person, hey, you're a really important part of my life, I care about you? Do I tell that person I care about them enough? And sometimes I don't think I do, really. Sometimes I'm scared that, hey, I've kind of like not been expressive enough about how I feel towards this person. I fear that maybe they think I hate them sometimes, you know? There's always that lingering anxiety that what if this person won't, you know, also feel that they care about me? But I think letting that person know how you feel about them is like way more important than how they really feel about you. Let me explain that. Basically, yes, it is important to acknowledge how they feel, but you also need to like be honest about your own emotions. You can't just bottle that up inside and let it linger, let it simmer, because then what if you run out of time? And that's really why I think you should be just honest about how you feel, you know? Like I said, you really don't know when it's over. So you better make the most of it while you can. You better let them be aware of how you feel while you can, because you really just don't know when the end comes. There's just not enough time in the world to wait and wait. If you like have the opportunity right now, I suggest you pause this video. You can do all the typical YouTuber shilling and sell out stuff later. Just stop this video and go tell that person, hey, I really care about you. And you know, it never has to be romantic. Like I definitely encourage this if you platonically feel this way about someone too, you know. If you're like, hey, I care about you, and you know, you're saying it platonically, I also highly recommend you say it, because it's still important either way to let the people you care about know you care about them in any form. Because it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. But whether it be romantic, platonic, familial, love is love, you know. I think like the Greeks did it best. They had these different types of love, you know. They had like eros and philia. They had these different sort of prefixes and suffixes for what the types of love are. And I think that's like really important. Like you can, you know, distinguish these types of love, but at the end of the day, you know, love is love is love is love is love. It doesn't really change all too much depending like on the person sometimes, because caring about someone, that's still caring about someone at the end of the day. And I think we take too much time in our days to try and make a distinction, make a difference between these types of loves, when really we should just focus on showing care and affection towards the people that we care about. You know, like that's really what's the most important thing about love to me. Just showing up and being like, I care about you. You know, I love you. I care about you, man. And by letting these people know how we feel, you know, we help them feel less alone, which in turn helps us feel less alone, because that's just, you know, that's just the power of love. It's something beautiful and chaotic and you know, all around messy sometimes. But being direct, being honest, not shying away from it, not running from it, that's really the most beautiful thing you can do when you love someone, when you care about someone. And you know, I've always been this hopeless romantic kind of person, but hey, guess what? Being a hopeless romantic actually kind of worked out for me. And you know, it doesn't work out for everyone. Like I'm very lucky and very fortunate to have found someone that I really care about, someone that I really love. And not everyone gets that opportunity, so that's why I always, you know, never try to take that person's love and care for granted, because I know that there are probably still like thousands of people out there who are not as fortunate as me to experience this kind of care and compassion and joy. And you know, that's kind of part of the reason why I'm making this video. It's to sort of have a conversation with those people who are scared of being honest with how they feel, being true to how they feel. Like, if you're scared of telling the person you care about that you care about them, don't be. Sure, it may not always end perfectly, but that's what you're gonna have to deal with sometimes. It's not always gonna be perfect. You're not always gonna have a fairy tale ending, unfortunately. But that shouldn't stop you from caring anyways, from loving anyways. Because, like I said, love is love is love is love. And still, having that opportunity to care about someone is still pretty great in my opinion, because you know, not everything has you never want, you know, you never want it to be a lesson, but sometimes when you love someone, that in and of itself is a lesson, especially when it's not, you know, it's not really reciprocated. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know. Sometimes we always need to learn, like every day of our lives, really. I've always been instilled by my mom to have this natural sense of curiosity, to always be compassionate and considerate of others, you know, and you know, I love her for that. I'm very grateful to have had that guidance in my life, to be shown how to love and care for other people. And, you know, I try my best to push that lesson outward. And, you know, I still struggle with it, obviously. I'm nowhere near perfect or where I want to be in life, but, you know, you still try. And I think that's the beautiful part of it. You still try no matter what. Alright, what are we doing with this house? Sorry, I definitely know I'm not finishing it in this episode probably, and that's okay. I like the little start we have. And, you know, if you guys have any ideas for this house, let me know. I'd love to hear them in the comments. But yeah, as I was saying, having the opportunity of loving someone, you know, it's very fortunate. It's a great opportunity because, you know, you're no longer caring about your own needs. You're not only worrying about yourself, you have someone else to care for, to worry about. And, you know, sometimes that worrying is not always, you know, great. You don't always have to be concerned about or for this person, but, you know, when they need you, when you do need to step up, you should take the opportunity to step up and be like, hey, I'm here for you. And, you know, you don't really need to solve their problems all the time, because that's not really why you're with them most of the time. In my opinion, most of the time when you're in a relationship with someone, you don't really need to be like, oh, how do I fix this person's problems? How do I fix this person? You let them figure that out for themselves, and you just act as a supportive figure, you know? Like, let them work on their journey, and you just stand and nod your head and be like, yes, I shall be here to help you however you need. You don't need to be some sort of knight in shining armor and save this person. That's not what you're there for. You're there to be supportive. So never forget that. And, you know, when they do ask you for help, you know, of course help them. You know, they're directly asking you, but most of the time you don't really need to be like, yes, I am going to save this person. No one in this world really asks directly to be saved when they get into a relationship with someone. They ask for support, you know. That's really what everyone wants at the end of the day. They want support. They don't want this hero. As much as fairy godmother from Shrek 2 would like you to believe, no, not everyone needs a hero. Sometimes they just need a friend to talk to, you know? How do we make this look good? Could just use chair again. And then maybe this. Ooh, hang on. And then we use slabs, right? Ooh, yes. I very much like that. I've kind of run out of... I've run out of a bit of fuel, but it's okay. This is quite the start. It'll definitely look more finished and complete next time. We'll definitely be working on the roof, which I think will be very interesting considering we have this rounded off sort of thing right here. I do want to use a dark oak outline. I think we actually need an extra floor just because of this, you know? Because what I want to do is make a sort of curved roof. And then, yeah, I kind of want to have a curved roof. So we'll need to make this another floor higher, I think. And, you know, I'll work on that. But, you know, if anything, I hope that what you took away from this video is you need to go out there and tell the people you care about that you care about them. And that even unfinished, you know, at least you make an effort to try in the first place. I did make an effort to look for the perfect, like, cherry biome to build this at, and, you know, it's still not finished. Still needs a lot of work, but that's the thing. Sometimes things take time, and you're not just gonna be finished and wrapped up by the end of, you know, a little 20-minute episode. And, you know, sometimes you just have to be okay with that. And with that, we have come to the end of the video. Once again, please be sure to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe down below if you like what you see and like what you hear in these videos. You guys have been a fantastic audience. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble on about my musings on the concept of love and showing the people that you care about them and telling them that you care about them. As always, you guys have been a fantastic audience. I've been an alright enough creator. And with that, I shall see you guys in the next episode. Take care and much love, you guys. Bye bye.